Hi, this is Harvey Siegel. I was born, grew up, and went to school in Eastern and Central Virginia. I moved to Atlanta for further schooling and lived there for 35 years. The last dozen or so years I've lived in Florida. Today is a special day for me. It's July the 1st, and it's the day I was born 66 years ago. Of course, I have no memory of it, but I've always marked the occasion on this date because it's the date they told me I was born, and it's also in my birth certificate. But don't get me wrong, I'm not wishing myself a happy birthday. I'm simply taking note of the fact that I'm alive and living on this planet today. You see, I have no idea how I survived to this day. Back in the post-World War II period, I had to survive being born because back then, mothers would smoke or drink while they carried children. They didn't know. They took aspirin. They ate blue cheese dressing. They would eat tuna fish from a tin can. And no one got tested for diabetes. Then after I survived that trauma, I'd come home to find out my baby crib was covered with bright colored lead-based paint. And all the paint in the house was lead-based. As I was growing up, our house had no child-proof lids on medicine bottles, or the doors or cabinets. And when you rode your bike, you had no helmet. Not to mention the risk I took all those years hitchhiking from one place to another. As a child, I vividly remember riding in the front seat of the car with no seat belt or airbags. My folks even bought a little car seat for me to sit in with its own horn, and it sat right up on the front seat between the driver and the passenger. We'd even ride in the back of a pickup truck, loose. It was always great fun. I actually drank water from a garden hose, not from a plastic disposable bottle. And yet, no one actually died from this that I know of. Summers were great, because about once a week, we got to run behind the mosquito truck that was spraying DDT. I actually ate cakes and brownies, white bread, and butter, real butter, and drank soda pop with sugar in it. But few were overweight because we always played outside. You would leave home in the morning and play all day as long as you were back by the time the streetlights came on. No one was able to reach you all day, and yet you were okay. You would spend hours building your go-kart out of scrap wood, and then you'd ride down the hill only to find out that you forgot to put brakes in it. You learned to solve your own problems. I didn't have PlayStations, Nintendos, Xbox, video games. We didn't have 300 channels of cable television in living color, no video DVD movies, no Netflix, no surround sound, no cell phones, smartphones, Androids, no text messaging, no personal computers, no internet, chat rooms. We didn't have Twitter, tweets. Just a black and white TV with 3 stations and a lot of test pattern watching. You had friends and you went outside and found them. You fell out of trees. Occasionally you got a shiner. You broke bones and teeth. And there were no lawsuits resulting from these accidents. I played with worms. Yes, real worms in the mud. And mud pies made from real dirt. We made up games like kick the can. We played marbles. And although you were told it would happen, you never put anybody's eye out with one of them. I rode my bike everywhere I went. And I never even knew what a bike lock was. I don't even think they had them. I'd walk to friends' houses and knock on the door or ring the bell or just yell outside, "I'm here." Up at the Little League field, local teams had tryouts, and not everyone made the team. Those who didn't had to learn to deal with the disappointment. Imagine that today. The idea of parents bailing you out if you got in trouble was unheard of. They actually sided with the authorities. Back then, God was still allowed in schools, and we could pledge allegiance to the flag that our parents went to war a few years earlier to protect. We had freedom, failure, success, and responsibility, and somehow learned how to deal with all of it. Like I said, I don't know how I made it, but I did. It simply must have been a miracle.